These notifications is getting on my nerves. My last nerve. Who is this? Oh, that's a lie. I hate when they be posting saying that actors passed away and they didn't pass away. I guess yesterday they said that Chris Tucker passed away, and Chris Tucker is good and alive. I'm gonna wait on a few folks to get here. I don't know who the one person is that's here because y'all ain't saying nothing. I'm gonna wait on a few people to get here. And then I'm gonna get started. Dang it, I didn't take my medicine today. I gotta do that. Definitely have to do that. And then we're gonna get started. If nobody show up soon, we just gonna get started and I'm gonna just upload this video and tell you guys. But I'm gonna wait another minute or so before I get started. I should have brought my little octopus in here and showed y'all what he looked like, but I'm not gonna do it now because I'm not about to get up and go get him. I guess I'm gonna have to start scheduling my lives to let people know when I'm live so they can show up because my lives are so random and these notifications just ain't working. I'm probably gonna start doing that. But I'm gonna get started because I don't want to be here all day waiting on folks to show up. But let me see, where's that picture? I wanted to tell everybody that today is Mama's birthday. So, for the people that don't know, my mother adopted me when I was. Hey, I said, I was saying that today is Mama's birthday. My mom, it's her heavenly birthday. Um, and for the people that don't know, my mother adopted me when basically she had me all my life, but the adoption was legal. Everything was legal when I turned 5 years old. So my last name was changed, my birth certificate was changed, and everything because it was, a legal adoption. Like, we went through the courts and all that kind of stuff. And it was legal when I was 5. But she had basically had me, like, I had basically been living with her off and on my whole life. Like, my adopted mother lived 3 houses from my biological mom. So, you know, she would just walk me down there when I got big enough to walk. Or I would just like leave and just go over there when I got sick of my real mom. So she's been in my life all my life, basically. So um, she got sick. We found out she had cancer. And about maybe 2 weeks from her cancer diagnosis, because she was, 93 years old, they didn't want to operate. And I didn't want them to operate on her because I had talked to the surgeon and he was like, if it was my mother, I wouldn't do this operation. And he was talking about how invasive it is And just not, he was like, it was two things. She may not have survived the operation, and then if she had survived, she may have been too weak to survive the recovery period. So she didn't have the operation and she passed 2 weeks later. And, I'm not upset about anything that happens because I really feel like my mother um, lived a good life. Like she was a happy person, even with all of the adversities she suffered, uh, growing up in the South. And my mother was born in 1917. So, her upbringing was totally different from mine. The whole drinking out of colored water fountains, having to go in the back door of a store, all that kind of stuff is the life that my mother actually lived. It's a trip that my kids lived in the same generation as me. A generation where even though there is still racism, we lived in the same generation basically. Even though I went to school, I was born in 64. So I started school in the 60s. But, it wasn't like I was too young to understand the racism that was, still going on. Because the Civil Rights Bill, I don't think was signed until 1968. That was the year that I started school. I started preschool. So, you know, a lot of the racism and stuff that was going on in the world, I was just too young to understand it. I lived in a world totally different than the world that my mother lived in the world that my husband's parents lived in. Totally different. And yesterday was my husband's dad's birthday. He turned 81. So, we lived in a totally different generation from them. And even all of the stuff that, my mother endured, she was the daughter of a sharecropper. And she, worked the fields and picked cotton and other vegetables and fruit, watermelon. She said that was a watermelon season was the best time for her and her brother. She said they would just sit in the field and bust a watermelon open and just sit there and, eat as many watermelons as they wanted because they grew them. And her dad, grew them to sell. So she had a lot of stories to tell. And she loved to talk. So, we talked a lot. It was just me and her. After my dad passed away, she never remarried. So it was just me and her all my life. Just me and my mom. And we were very close. Very, very close. Even after I got married and grew up, we talked on the phone 3 and 4 times a day. Like she would call. This is what I miss. And I never thought that I would miss this. Because sometimes it would like get on my nerves, but I couldn't trip because it was my mom. But her calling and she'd be like, turn on channel 4, click. Because she would be watching something and she would want me to watch it. And she want to hurry up and hang up so she could go back to watching it. And then after it was over, she would call me and be like, did you see so and so and so and so? And I'd be like, no, because I was busy. You didn't even give me a chance to say, hey, I'm doing something right now. And I miss that. I miss having someone call me just to tell me who won Jeopardy. I don't even watch Jeopardy. But it's just the fact that she would call me and be like, yeah, this lady won Jeopardy. She was a teacher, and I'm so happy she won. And I don't know that woman. I don't even watch Jeopardy. But it's just the fact that she would call me and, tell me some of the most random things. I miss her calling me, telling me who in her little, because she lived in a senior complex before she got sick. She would call me and tell me the little seniors that was fighting and who won the bingo and who showed up for this and who did that. I miss that. It just seemed like after my mom got sick, my phone got dry. Like, I never thought I would, miss those phone calls on Saturday morning. My mom calling me at 9 o'clock in the morning, asking me what I'm doing. What you think I'm doing? I'm asleep. Why you sleep this late? It's 9 o'clock. But 9 o'clock was late for her. If you ain't up, you supposed to be up on Saturdays. You supposed to be up cleaning the house, cooking breakfast. You a woman, you got kids. Mama, I work every day on Saturdays. I be trying to sleep late. You need to get up. Get up. With your lazy ass. Get up. I know you got some washing to do. You got them kids. You need to get up and wash them clothes. And oh my God. Get up. I miss that. God knows I do. I wish I had somebody calling me now to tell me who won Jeopardy. And crying because something didn't have. She don't know these damn people. She didn't watch the news and heard that somebody got shot. And my mama would call me crying. I'd be like, what happened? What happened? Oh, I was watching the news and somebody's baby that got shot. Well, do you know these people? No. I just feel bad. I'd be like, Mama, cut your TV off. I miss that. I do. I want somebody to call me and tell me who won Jeopardy. And I hate, I don't even like Jeopardy. But if I could just hear her voice telling me who won, and she didn't say Jeopardy. She said Jeopardy. Jeopardy. I want to know who won Jeopardy. And I never corrected her. When my mother said, she said almost everything incorrectly. And I wouldn't correct her because it wasn't my place. I was her child, and I stayed even as an adult. I stayed in the child's place cuz one time she had babysat my kids. And my oldest son, he always been a mess. He had got into trouble. And my mama was like, "Don't make me whoop you." And my son was like, "If you whoop me, my mama don't like nobody putting their hands on me. And if you whoop me, I'm going to tell my mama." Honey, what he say that for? My mama was like, "I will whoop you. And when your mama get here, I'll whoop her too." And that scared my son. Because when I got there to pick them up, my mama was like, "You better have a talk with this child." Because he told me that my mama don't like nobody putting their hands on me. And I told him that I will whoop your ass and your mama's. And I was like, "Boy, don't be putting me in y'all drama." I ain't got nothing to do with that. If she say she gonna whoop you, she gonna whoop you. Don't put me in between. Yes, she will whoop you and me. My son was like, "What?" Yes, she will whoop both of us. Take that ass whooping and leave me out of it. You see, your brother didn't want none of it. He was like, "I ain't tangling with her." And after that, my son and my mama didn't have no more problems. Because I was like, if she gets you, I ain't in that. Now, if anybody else gets you, I got your back. But if mama gets you, you just gonna take that ass whooping. You most definitely will have to take that ass whooping because I'm not going to jump in that fight. And they ain't had no more problems. No more. Because I wasn't going to get in that. He was going to have to take that one for the team. I'm not about to jump in that. She going to whoop your ass. She ain't going to whoop mine. I already know what she can do. So, that's on you. If you want to find out, go right ahead. But I'm not going to jump in that. So, they ain't had no more problems after that. No more. And don't call me when she whoop your ass either. Don't call me. She probably ain't gonna let you call me. If she have to whoop you, you can't use her phone. After she whoop you, you think she gonna let you use her phone to call somebody for help? No. You gonna have to sit in that till somebody come get you. Honey, my son was like, okay, well, I didn't know it was like this. Nobody told me that. Honey, he left Lucille alone. And you should know that was a lesson he had to learn. You should know that you don't want to tangle with somebody with a name like Lucille. You don't tangle with them old folks with them names like Bertha May, Ellie Mae, Lucille, Bessie. Anybody with a May in their name, you don't fuck with them. They will hurt you. He learned. Yeah, you don't smack your lips at no. Oh, girl, you wanted to die. Lula B, Lula Bell. You don't. You don't mess with them. I never tried my mama. Never. I left her house before I tried her. I was like, it's time for me to move. She was like, yeah, it probably is. And that's only because I wanted to stay out late. Yeah, it's time for you to move. And I was grown. I was 21. But my mama, I was 21 and my mama had a 10 o'clock curfew. 10 o'clock? And I'm 21? No, I'm not going to do that. And I came home like super late one time. And my mama had put the chain on the door. So when I got home, I could, you can only open, I unlocked the door and stuff. And when I pushed the door open, the chain caught the door. And the bedroom was upstairs. So my cat came to the door and I was like, go upstairs and tell mama to open the door. And the cat was like, huh? Because the cat was old. She didn't know what was going on. The cat was like, just open the door and come in. I was like, the chain is on the door. Go tell mama to open the door. And the cat, she just screaming like she had to go. Cat hollering and stuff. And my mama wouldn't come to the door. Now she hear me. So then I start ringing the doorbell. Because I knew she knew. Because I know she heard the door when the door opened. And then the cat is screaming. Like, she had the door. She had the door. So I back up to look in the upstairs window. And there's my mama in the window. Wide woke. So come downstairs and take the chain off the door. And my mother was like, hello? And I was like, mama, it's me. Open the door. She was like, who? Definitely a Scorpio. I said, mama, it's me. Can you come downstairs and open the door? And she was like, who? I was like, your daughter. And she was like, no, definitely not. I wouldn't have a daughter coming in at 2 o'clock in the morning. So the person that had dropped me off was in their car. They got out the car and was like, what's, is everything okay? I was like, yeah, my mom is tripping. She won't let me in the house. So then the person that I was with was like, oh, hi, Miss Williams. Are you not going to let her in? And my mother was like, I don't know her. I don't know her because my daughter wouldn't stay out this late. So I'm not sure who that is. And the person was like, Miss, looking at me like, does she act like this all the time? I was like, yeah. And they were like, is she gonna let you in? I was like, I don't know. I have no clue. So after she had let me stay out there, she thinking, I'm gonna teach you a lesson. I'm gonna embarrass the hell out of you in front of whoever that is, because I don't care. She finally came downstairs and opened the door. And I was like, why did you have to do all that? Because I wanted to. And don't say nothing else to me. You better be glad I opened the door. Do you want to go back out there? And I was like, no. And I just went to my room and closed the door and plotted my escape. Not too long after that, I moved out because I'm not going to go through this every time I leave the house. And don't come back at the time that you feel is appropriate. So did. Happy out there. I don't know you. Who? Who? I was like, Mama, come on. You know it's me. Open the door. I don't know who you are. And then told the person that I was with, I don't know her. Because my daughter, my child would be in the house sleep at 3 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know who that is. I was like, come on. Sure did. Embarrassed the hell out of me. And then the next day, she was like, I'm not going to be leaving my door unlocked just because you want to stay out and be running around town all hours of the night. I'm not going to leave my door unlocked. I'm not going to risk my safety. Mind you, the door was locked. There's a dead bolt on the door. So she didn't have to put the chain on there. There was a dead bolt that I had a key to that was locked. And then she had the chain on there. Honey, Mama was a mess. She was a mess. Do you hear me? But she was the best mother. Because during the summer, all my friends loved to come to my house. Okay, for one thing, we lived in an apartment that had a long driveway. So everybody used to love to come over there and skate and everything in the driveway because the owner would park his car on the street because he knew all the kids liked to play in that long ass driveway, or he would park way back in the back. So we had this long driveway to skate and ride our skateboards and do everything. And my mother would make the best lemonade or Kool-Aid or iced tea and sandwiches that she would cut in these little squares. Like she would make a sandwich and cut it 4 ways, so it always looked like a whole bunch of sandwiches, but it was one sandwich cut in squares. So we would have like a pile of what we thought was hella sandwiches. She would make like little ham sandwiches with little sweet pickles, and because the each sandwich would have like a little toothpick and it would have like a little sweet pickle on it. She made the ham sandwiches with sweet pickles. She made tuna sandwiches and bologna and cheese sandwiches. And she would cut these little sandwiches and bring out this platter of sandwiches, potato chips, and, either Kool-Aid, lemonade, or iced tea. And we would sit on the porch after, we didn't play hard and everything. We would sit on the porch and eat these little sandwiches and drink our, lemonade or whatever. All the kids loved my house all the time. Or my mama would make these little tea cakes from scratch. They were like a thin pound cake cut in squares. She would bring out like a platter of tea cakes, and we would eat them tea cakes and kick back. I think some of my fondest memories was having tea parties with my mom, and she would make, I had like tea sets, and she would make real tea, and me and her would have tea parties with the little tea cakes and tea, and we would just sit and talk and drink out of these little fancy teacups and stuff. And I would bring my dolls and they would sit around and they would have their tea, and we would just sit and eat tea cakes and cookies and chit chat, or just getting up in the morning. And my mother always made breakfast, always had like home cooked breakfast, especially on the weekends. During the week, not as much, because when she was working. When she wasn't working, yeah, but when she was working, she couldn't do it during the week. But on the weekends, always. And I would get up in the morning, Saturday morning, and wash my face, do all that kind of stuff, and come to the breakfast table. Child, my mama would have my coffee. I've been a little old person all my life. Do you hear me? I can remember when I was like 5 or 6 years old, probably six, 7. I can remember coming to the table with my little bathrobe, and my mama would have the newspaper sitting at the table with my coffee while I'm waiting for her to fix the rest of the breakfast. I always been old, and I would sit there reading the funny papers with my coffee that she had watered down. Like, she would always make my coffee real weak. But I had my little coffee cup, and I would sit there, honey, with my newspaper. I knew I was grown. Grown. Okay? I'm grown. Do you hear me? I would sit there with my coffee, reading the paper, waiting for her to finish the rest of the breakfast. I'd be drinking my coffee. Drinking my coffee. I was just, you cannot tell me. I've been a little old woman all my life. Sitting there like, and wait a minute. Wait a minute. I wore glasses. So can you picture that? I wore glasses as a little kid. I've worn glasses basically since I started school. So can you imagine? Can you imagine me? Let me see if I can find that picture. Can you imagine me sitting at the kitchen table with some little cat eye glasses on, drinking coffee, and reading the newspaper? Look at this, y'all. Let me see. Look. That was me. I've worn glasses since I was a little girl. Child, I've been a little old lady all my life. Because I had an older mother. My mother was she was older. She like was old enough technically to be my grandmother. When she adopted me, she was old enough to be my grandmother. So, because everybody at school thought she was my grandmother, but I was like, no, that's my mom. So, I was a little old soul. I was technically a little old lady. I've been an old soul all my life. Honey, I used to sit there in the morning and drink. Like, you cannot tell me that I was not grown. Do you know that I couldn't wait until I could wear stockings? I was counting down the days, child. I wanted to wear them stockings because I felt like, okay, I am there. I am there. I'm grown now. I am grown. When I start wearing stockings, hey Demona, I'm grown. I'm 58. You couldn't tell me I wasn't grown. When I started wearing stockings, that was it. I was grown. But I've been grown. I think I came here grown. I came here grown. So, and mama, because she was older, I just picked up my husband said all the time. He was like, "You so country." To have been born and raised here in California. I've been in California all my life. All my life. But I'm country to the bone. And that's because of my mom. All that's from her. I've been visited, but never lived there. Never lived there. I think my mother lived, yeah, my mother lived in California longer than she lived in Louisiana. I think she did. Because it was close. She came out here in her 40s. She came out here. She came out to California in her 40s, and then she passed out here in her 90s. So she lived in California longer than she lived down south. But I believe her heart was in the south. But she didn't want to be buried at home because my dad passed out here and she wanted to stay out here with him. She wanted to when he got sick, they purchased their plot together. And so they wanted they wanted to be buried together. So my mom is on top of my dad. They in the same plot. I think they came out here in the 50s. They had to have came out here in the 50s because I was born in the 60s. So I think they came out here in the 50s. If I'm not mistaken. I think they did. Because yeah, I think they did. Because they they went to Florida first. And then my dad came to California for a job and he wanted to come here first and get, you know, their house, car, all that kind of stuff before she came. And after he got established, he sent for her and she came from Florida out here. And they stayed until he passed. And then my mama stayed because she didn't want me to be raised in Louisiana. because she felt like the South is not a place to raise kids. My mother was thinking about the education in the South and all of that kind of stuff, and she didn't want me to. She was like, California, a lot of our ancestors in our family, black people, our families did that migration from the South out here looking for jobs, because there were no jobs in Louisiana. Like, my dad got out here and he wasn't a longshoreman, but he worked with the longshoremen, I think. I don't think he was a longshoreman, but he worked out there. He worked for Southern Pacific Railroad, but it was close to where the longshoremen were working. But that was a lot of black people migrated to California for work, because it was a lot going on in California in the 40s and 50s and 60s. A lot of factory jobs. Southern Pacific Railroad was hiring real big. So, they came out here. Your mom and dad are buried together too. Yeah, that they wanted that. And they did that kind of stuff. Um they made those plans when my dad got sick. Yeah, I mean, a lot of our ancestors were sharecroppers, and they grew a lot of things. Like, my mother was what was she? A, well, a midwife. They didn't call them doulas like they do now. She was a midwife for a little while in Louisiana, and a um and she did some, you know, in-home care, that type of work. So she's had a few jobs. You know what I was really thinking about? And I really want to get everybody together on this, and I want to talk about this a little bit more. I was watching a video uh, yesterday. And I don't even know how, like, sometimes God will put things on your, like, you'll see things and it's meant for you to see. Because it was something videos that I normally don't watch. So this had to have been meant for me to see it. But it was a young lady, and she had a baby. She was pregnant. Pregnancy went fine. Everything was normal in her pregnancy. And it was close, very close to her due date. And her family had came in, because they wanted to be there when the baby was born and stuff. And she got up that morning and she didn't feel anything. She didn't feel the baby moving. And she had one of the at home, I can't, ultrasound thing, so you can hear the baby's heartbeat. And she said, it always worked for her. She would, listen to the baby. And that morning she got up and she couldn't find it. She couldn't find the baby's heartbeat. And she went to the hospital and they couldn't find it either. And so sometime in the night, her baby had passed. So, she went through the whole thing, and they wanted to give her a cesarean, and she said no. She wanted to deliver the baby, and she did. She delivered the baby, and the baby was beautiful. Beautiful baby, full term, beautiful baby. And the baby had just stopped breathing in utero. And for whatever reason, she didn't want to do an autopsy to find out, what happened. She just took it as, that baby went back home to God. And so what they did after, the baby passed was she purchased one of those, I think it's called a cuddle crib or something. But anyway, it's like a bassinet that they give to mothers to, is it to keep the baby warm while you, because the baby is deceased, and it's a special bassinet that they put the baby in so that you can keep the baby in your room longer. And so they purchased one and put her baby's name on it and donated it to the hospital. And I would love to do that. So I'm really thinking about doing a GoFundMe, and the people that are, you know, supporters of the channel, we will figure out, you know, what we want to name it. But I do want it to be in honor of my sister who passed away from SIDS. So I want to see like what hospital. Um, I'm gonna work all of this out, and then I'm gonna come back with a plan because I am going to do a GoFundMe for um to raise some of the money. But I really, really would like to do this. Something to honor my sister, and then something to, just leave behind to say, hey, I really did something special. I mean, I feel like, now this is my thought. I feel like I've touched, in my 58 years, I have touched a lot of people's lives. I have sown a lot of seeds because I've done a lot of things. I've preached the gospel. I've been a counselor in a group home setting for teenagers, a counselor in a group home setting for adults. I have helped women who have been on drugs. So I'm not going to say I've lived 58 years and haven't done anything. I've done a lot. But I would love to do something like that other people can really see. Something that I know would be special, because these bassinets are really special for women who lose a child. It gives them the opportunity to, keep their baby with them for a while, while they're going through this grieving process. So that was laid on my heart. And I really, 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 what did I do it? Did I save it to this time? Let's see. What is it called, y'all? Where did I put it? Um, okay, it's for cooling. It says the Cuddle Cot is a in-room cooling unit that is the size. Wait a minute. Okay, that is the size of a small humidifier that is disguised inside a bassinet or Moses basket. A cuddle cot gives the families the gift of time, allowing for their precious angel, which is the baby, to be at their bedside during the hospital stay. So it's a cooling um, unit. For I couldn't remember, do it keep the baby cool or hot? But yeah, it keeps the baby cool. I think it slows down the um the process of, because the baby is deceased. So it helps with the cooling process. So I'm going to have to figure out what hospital. These are things that you have to figure out, like what hospital you want yours to be donated to. And then, of course, you have to contact the hospital and see if they even accept them. Do they have like a high rate of mortality for infants? Like, is it even practical for this hospital to have them? You got to go through that whole process. But I'm willing to do that. And I really would love to donate one in my sister's name. So, yeah. Oh, hey, thank you, Phoenix. Um, so that's a project that I really want to work towards. And I think they're like close to $4,000. So it's not like I'm gonna be coming to the channel asking for $1 million. You know, I and I was, will find a way, because they have a little plaque that you can engrave when you donate it to the hospital. So, of course, I would donate it in my sister's name and in this channel's name. So, that would include everybody that donated. So, we're going to be talking more about this because um, I want to do something nice. Like, I really do. I want to um I saw there's a channel called, I think the dude's name is Mr. Beast, and now he's got millions and millions and cajillions of subscribers. And he there was a incident where I guess some people thought he was gonna come to a grocery store, to the Piggly Wiggly. Everybody showed up down at the Piggly Wiggly because they thought Mr. Beast was going to come down there and pay for their groceries, but Mr. Beast didn't show up. And I don't think Mr. Beast was supposed to show up this particular time, because I think he had did it before, but he had set it up. Now this time it looks like somebody on Facebook started a rumor that Mr. Beast was going to be at the Piggly Wiggly, and he didn't come. But they did. And child, they was filling up shopping carts full of groceries. But it didn't happen. Now, if Mr. Beast can do things, I know he has millions of subscribers. I only have a couple of thousand. But we should be able to come together and do some nice things. Isn't that what, I don't want this channel to, now I'm going to talk shit, of course. But I don't want it to just be that. I do want us to do something nice. If we don't do but one thing, at least you can say, well, like, almost soon if something, God forbid, but if something does happen to me, I, want you guys to look back and be like, okay, she tried. She tried to, you know, she tried to do something. She tried to do something nice. Like, she legit wanted to do something Nice. And I really do want to do that. So I am going to, be doing some research to see, how it's best to go about it, or, if we can't get the cuddle uh uh cot, because that's what it's called. If we can't do that, I still want to do something, get a what was it that my husband wanted to do? He wanted to get a brick. I think at his high school or something. I think he wanted to get a brick, be like a alumni for his high school, and they do yard. Let me show y'all what my husband bought me, and I almost cried. Let me show y'all. So, Veterans Day is coming up, and my husband bought himself his unit 8th ID. He bought a T-shirt with the emblem for the unit that he used to be in when he was in the army, and this is what he got me. It says "Proud Army Wife," and the dog tags have my husband's name. I don't know why I got so emotional when I opened this up. He told me he was getting a shirt. I knew the shirt was coming. And I had saw the shirt, and I was like, oh, okay, so we could be twinsies for Veterans Day. And he was like, yeah, he told me he got the shirt, but he didn't tell me that the dog tags had his name. So I'm gonna be wearing my t-shirt. I'm gonna be wearing my t-shirt. Okay? I'm gonna be out here. Army wife. Oh, I'm gonna be out here. You hear me? I'm gonna be out here. When I opened that package, because he called me and he was like, your package is in the mailbox, go get it. So I said, oh, okay. So I opened it and I was like, oh, that's nice. And then I looked down and I was like, wait a minute, is that his name? And it had his name on the dog tags. And I was like, I didn't know that it had your name on it. He said, yeah, I didn't tell you that part. There was a little part that said honor the soldier, and you could put your name. He said the only thing he messed up is he didn't put his staff sergeant, or the little stuff you put in front of the name, like your rank. He didn't put that. He just put his name. So he was like, I should have put staff sergeant. I was like, yeah, you should have did that. But that's okay. So he's gonna have on the one with his unit 8th ID and their emblem. And I think he got the hat and stuff. And I'm gonna have on the t-shirt as his wife. I'm so proud of my husband. I've always been proud of him. The first time I saw him in his uniform, I think he was 19. And I could have just ate him up. He was so handsome. But he didn't want no parts of me. He didn't want me. Okay? He just didn't want me. I'm so sad. It makes me so sad to think that he didn't want me then. Why he didn't want me? He didn't want no parts of me. Like, we were friends. We were friends. We had broke up. And we were just friends. And he was so cute in his uniform. He just looked so good. And he said he got in so much trouble because he had his uniform altered to fit him tighter and he wasn't supposed to. And he said he got back to his unit and he put that uniform on and they was like, "What did you do to your uniform?" And he was like, "I took it to the cleaners and I had the jacket tailored to fit me better cuz he had lost so much weight in boot camp." And they was like, "Boy, if you don't get rid of that uniform," they made him pay for another uniform because he had messed that one up and he could never wear that one again. But he looked so good. But he didn't want me. He did not want me. I mean, I literally be doing the Will Smith. When Will Smith asked his uncle, "Why you don't want me, man?" That's me. Why he didn't want me? Damn. Then he had to go through the bullshit with his wife, and I had to go through that bullshit with my husband when we could have been together. But he didn't want me, child. But he want me now. He want me now. Oh, he looked good. God, dog. He looked so good. But he did not want no parts of me. Well, what had happened was his sister, his sister saw me on Facebook and she said, "Guess who I saw on Facebook?" And he was like, "Who?" And she was like, "LaShana." And he was like, "What?" And she said, "Yes." And he was like, "Let me see. Let me see what she looked like." And he went and looked at my pictures. But a friend of mine, see, we all went to the same church. A friend of mine had already told me, "Guess who I saw on Facebook?" And I was like, "Who?" She was like, "Eric." And I was like, "What?" She was like, "Yes." And so I had went and looked at his pictures and I was like, "Oh my God, he still looked the same." And she was like, "Yeah, he do." And so I guess it was like, the same time his sister had saw me. And I don't know if, okay, so his sister friended me and I accepted her friend request. And I think I sent him a friend request or something, child. And we started talking, like on Facebook, not in person. And I was like, "Oh, so, all of us should get together and go out." Like me and my other friend, we were all friends. We were all church friends. Because, I didn't want to make it seem like I'm trying to ask him out on a date because, like I didn't know what his situation was. And I don't know how he was like, "Oh, well, give me your number or something." I'm looking for this picture of him. I don't know why it won't come up on Facebook. "Give me your number or something." And so we start talking on the phone. And okay, so this is us when we were young. We started talking on the phone, and I'm looking for that picture of him with his uniform on. We started talking on the phone, and it just, it just kind of went from there. It went from, nah, I don't really want to go out with, you know, your friend, with our friend, one of our mutual friends. He was like, let's just, me and you go out. And it just seemed like we just picked up where we left off when we were 18. It just legit seemed like no time had passed. Look at him. Oh, child. I was just like, when he came to church that Sunday with that uniform on, I could have just ran up to him and grabbed him. But I had to act like I had some sense because he came back all, you know he was just, I don't know, he had, the military had changed him. Like, I don't know, like he was a lot more mature, it seemed. And he was focused on, he was just here for like 2 weeks or something. He wanted to, spend time with his family because, of course, he had been in boot camp. He hadn't seen his mom and dad. So, and he knew he was only going to be here for a little while. I think we talked um, maybe once or twice while he was here. But his whole thing was, I'm leaving. You know, I'm getting ready to go to Germany. I'm getting ready to go overseas. I don't know what that's going to be like. I don't know, what's going to happen. And I guess he just, he didn't want no girlfriend. I don't, I'm getting ready to go. I'm getting ready to go to Germany. And to him, for somebody that, had never left the country, that was like, I'm getting ready to go to the moon. I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want no girlfriend. And he left. And basically, I never heard from him again until Facebook. Like, I heard that he had got out the military and he had came back. I heard that from like some church people. But at that time, I had kids. I had, done moved on with my life. I had moved on. Yeah, he just didn't want to do that. He didn't want to do it. I did. Like, I was legit willing to do that, but he, we've talked about it, and he said he just didn't understand. He didn't understand how that was gonna work. What the how the moving pieces was gonna work. Me being his girlfriend, him being in Germany, he just didn't understand how we were gonna make that work. And we could have, but he didn't get it. Like, we could have made it work. I would have legit helped him make that work, but he wasn't ready for it to work. So I don't know. It just, he got to Germany and ended and married somebody over there. Somebody that was there with him. So this, but I always look at this situation and I'm like, this is what was supposed to happen. This is what was supposed to happen. This is, how the divine set things up. We weren't supposed to be together then. No, our plans is not God's plans. God look at our plans and laugh. I was supposed to be with the person that I was with. I was supposed to have kids with the person that I had kids with. That was the plan. No matter how much I wanted something else, that wasn't in God's design. So we together now, and we're happy. Very happy. But I just think that had we been together when we were younger, we would have still been happy. And I do think that things would have, worked out for us. But we're together now and we're happy. Like, he is still very much who I remember, as a teenager. Like, he's still got that quirky sense of humor that I was attracted to as a kid, as, a young girl. He still has that. And he says that basically I'm still the same person, that I was, because, when he met me, I both of us come from a very good Christian foundational home. He comes from a home where his mom and dad have been married 58 years. They still married. They still together. I come from a home that, my parents were married until my dad passed away. Very Christian, very, very Christian background. My dad was a deacon. My husband's dad was a deacon. My husband is a deacon. I'm a ordained minister. So, yeah, we have very, very similar backgrounds. So I really believe that, we would have been cool. Yeah, thank you, sweetheart. I believe we are very beautiful couple. We are two people that, you know, sync with each other really well. And I think that's because we have so many things in common. But we have a lot of things that, you know, we don't have in common. Like, I'm crafty, into, but that's a woman's thing. Like, I have a lot of hobbies outside of my husband. He has a lot of hobbies outside of me. My husband is very into, I bet you if I go in there right now, if he not asleep, he probably sleep though, because he had to get up early this morning and go to the DMV. But if he not asleep, he playing video games. He is a diehard gamer. More into video games than any guy that I've ever been with. Video games and computers and animation and all of that kind of stuff, he is truly into. That's his thing. I don't give a damn about video games. We must have talked an hour this morning about the new Ant-Man trailer. He want to go see this Ant-Man movie when it comes out. He's into Marvel, more into Marvel than DC. But comics, when, he got me into the Avengers and all of that kind of stuff. So, that's his thing. I watch YouTube. The only time he watches YouTube is if it's like a movie trailer or something, animation or something, or a podcast about football or video games or something. Oh no, my mom didn't. No, my mom didn't send him. We already knew each other. As a matter of fact, my mom knew him. You know, as a child, my mom knew him because we did date for a little while. Um, no, we dated for almost a year, and then we broke up when he went to the military. Well, before he went to the military, we were, I don't know. I think he was just so anxious about going to the military. He was just trying to, and he is that type of person. He will, if something is going on, he, tries to separate himself away from the situation before it hurts him. Like when we thought Gizmo was going to pass this last time that Gizmo got sick, he was like, I had already separated myself from that because I'm trying to preserve my heart. And I think that's what he did when we were young is, just try to get away from me before it was time for him to go in the military so that, it wouldn't hurt him to like legit lose me. So, but we back. We back together. So yeah, my mother knew who, we all went to the same church. She knew him. I knew his parents. I know his sister. We, they've known me for since I was 17. And his sister is 8 years younger. She'll be 50. She'll be 50 in February. Yeah. I think she'll be 50 in February. So, I've known them for a while. But that's my husband. So, Mama's birthday, I usually celebrate with this little Sara Lee pound cake. My mother used to love these Sara Lee pound cakes. You get them out the freezer. And I'll probably get one this weekend because, uh, like I said, yesterday was Eric's dad's birthday. And we got him two cakes because my husband has to go to work early and he's normally not here when his sister gets off work at 5 o'clock, and she works in the city, so she has to get off work and do all that. So me and my husband got him a cake and a Baby Yoda balloon, and we sang happy birthday to him early. And then his sister came when she got off work um yesterday evening because she didn't get here till late. So she came, and then uh we got him like a cupcake with a baseball on it because he loved baseball. And his sister came later and she got him a carrot cake. So we caked out this big old Baby Yoda balloon because my husband's dad reminds me so much of Baby Yoda because he doesn't have a whole lot of expressions. He's just he happy, but He always be kind of like stone faced. Just he don't do too much, you know. He ain't like out here giggling, and he just be kind of serious. So we are caked out. It is so much cake because not only did we buy him that chocolate cupcake, we got like a lemon cake, and then his sister bought a carrot cake, and I gotta taste that today because she said it is a carrot cake, a caramel carrot cake with buttercream, buttercream filling and caramel drizzle or something. It was a lot going on that cake. So we caked out. So for the weekend, I might get mama's cake and have a slice of her favorite cake. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about mama today because, God, I miss her. Oh, I miss her so much. Like, um, and my mother was like, "Don't be running out here to the cemetery. Don't be running out here when you lay me. Don't come out here." She said, "Cause I'm gone. I'm not here. My soul has left. This is they put my shell in this casket. So it don't make no sense for you to run out here." And she said, "Don't do that. Don't," because my mother knew I get, stressed out and anxious. I've always been a high strung kid. It never took much to stress me out and make me cry. And, then it takes me a hard time to calm down. Um, and I have done basically what she said. The only time that I've been out there, I think I went out there once for Mother's Day. I went out there to when the cemetery called me and told me that her headstone was ready. I went out there and made sure that the spelling and everything, and they had laid it down correctly. And of course they had. And I think I went out there once for Mother's Day, and it was packed. The cemetery was packed for Mother's Day, and it was just, oh God, it was just overwhelming. The level of grief was just overwhelming for me. Like I literally almost got sick, and I was like, okay, I'm not gonna put myself through that anymore anytime soon. So I don't go out there. Because my mother wasn't the type of person that liked flowers anyway. She wasn't a flower person. And she always said, "Don't bring me no flowers when I'm dead. I can't see them. If you going to bring me some flowers, bring them to me while I'm alive. Because it don't make no sense to bring them out to the cemetery when I'm dead. I can't see them." And it made sense. Like my mother always talked about that. Me and my mother like sat me down when I was in my 20s to make sure that I understood that she had, basically had everything taken care of. The only thing she didn't have taken care of was the headstone. And she basically said she didn't care because my dad had a headstone. She was like, "I'm here. I'm right under, you know, Daddy." And I was like, "No, I want her to have one." And I did get her one. But she didn't even care about that. Everything else was paid for. The only thing that I had to pay was the tax. And you have to wait until the person actually dies because, the taxes are different every year or however they do that. So the only thing I had to pay was the tax. And I think it was only $8 and something. It was very cheap. That was the only out of pocket expense. Oh, other than the flowers. I had to pay for the flowers. And that was it. So she had took care of everything. Her casket, her dress, everything. I didn't have to worry about nothing. And that was how she wanted it. She didn't, want me to have to. And I'm going to do the same thing for my kids. Because I don't want them to, when I pass, I don't want them to have to, go in and be talking to these people about, this, that. I don't want that for them. I really don't. So I'm going to take care um, of everything. Me and my husband are trying to figure out if, uh, we want, because I think we can be buried together in a veterans cemetery. And I'm not sure. We still got to kind of go through some things. But yeah, today is Mama's birthday. And I miss her. I wish she was, selfishly, I wish she was still here if she was still healthy. If she was sick, then no. If she was sick, she can, go on and be with the Lord. But if she was healthy, I wish she was still here calling me, telling me who the won Jeopardy and who did this and who did that and what happened on the news and or who was acting stupid at bingo. I miss them phone calls. I miss those. So that's that. We had so many good memories. I hope, when I pass, my kids can look back and be like, dang, I remember when my mom did so and so. Because even my kids still talk about my mama's pancakes. They ain't never talked about my pancakes. They still talk about my mama's pancakes. Going to my mama's house for breakfast. She did make way better pancakes than me. Because my mom did something to her syrup. I think she put like lemon extract or something in her syrup. She did something to that syrup because her syrup always tastes different. And like my mama thought she was slick. She wouldn't even tell me like all of her little tricks and stuff. She always had a trick up her sleeve to make stuff taste different. Because my son was like, one time we went to the grocery store and he was like, get that stuff that mama be putting on the sandwiches. And I was like, what stuff? And he was like, that yellow stuff, that like yellow stuff she be putting on the sandwiches. Get that. And I was like, you can't get that. And he was like, why? Because she makes it. And he was like, she make that? I was like, yeah, it's mayonnaise and mustard. My mom would have a jar of it in the refrigerator because she would, make up. So when she got ready to make her sandwich, she could just go in there and get that jar because it was just mayonnaise and mustard. But it was yellow because of the mustard. And my son thought because it was in a mason jar in the refrigerator that you could get it from the store. And he was like, she make that? Yes, your grandma made that. She made that mayonnaise and mustard. Her own little spread. I've been eating that. Now you talk about a good ham sandwich, and I don't even eat ham sandwiches anymore. But this was the ham sandwich. It was a ham sandwich, and you used that mayonnaise and mustard spread. And then you take some pickles, some sweet pickles, the little sweet pickles, and you cut them up. And you put that on the sandwich. That's it. That's it right there. I used to tear them sandwiches up when I was little. I legit used to like run home from school to get one of them ham sandwiches with them sweet pickles. I don't even like ham anymore like that though. But honey, my mama used to make them ham sandwiches with them sweet pickles. Okay, the best part of my life was going on field trips, and my mama would make my lunch, and she would wrap the soda up in aluminum foil. I know y'all mamas did that. If your mama didn't do that, she didn't love you. My mama would freeze the soda and then wrap it up in aluminum foil so it would stay cold. And you would open that up on your field trip. Honey, I would have that ham sandwich with them sweet pickles. My mama would fix me to cut up my apple. She would always cut because I hate to just like bite into an apple. So she would cut my apple up for me and take the outside part off. I was spoiled. Like whatever fruit, unless it was a banana, she would always cut it up for me. I was spoiled and put it like in a Ziploc bag. My lunch used to be so neat. I had everything, child. But it was something about them ham sandwiches. I might just make one this weekend. But she used to like shred. She wouldn't just, throw the ham on the bread. She would shred the ham, shred it a little bit, put the mayonnaise and mustard on both sides of the bread. So the sandwich would be kind of thick. I might make one this weekend. Make that this weekend and just go to the store and find all of the things that mama liked. Like them club crackers. Mama loves her some club crackers. And make my little sandwich. And we just have a whole spread for mama. And we got to end it with that bland ass coffee that she used to drink every night. I can't think of the international coffee that came in that little tin. We got to end it with that. Yes, these little things. We got to end it with that. Have us a little international coffee, or we may end it with a little nip. Take a little nip of whiskey, cause mama, she didn't drink. She didn't drink, but every now and Christmas she may take her a nip. Now we can only this the one she liked though. The General Foods. That's the one she had. So I may have to see if I can find that one. Because she used to drink that one all the time. And then we have us a little nip. You can't have a whole drink because now she was a Christian woman. She'd only have a nip. A nip is like a shot. Only have a little bit. So we gonna drink us some coffee and we may have our little nip on the side. Thank you, Sponge Boy. So yeah, her name is Lucille Williams. I think I showed y'all but we all called her Momo. Everybody called her Momo. Cause my kids had a hard time saying grandma. And so they just called her Momo instead of grandma. But Lucille, that's her name. Honey, if it's a big enough shot, that a shot can get you right. A shot a shot of the right thing can definitely get you right, okay? But mama wasn't trying to get right. She wasn't trying to she didn't she was not a smoker. She didn't smoke cigarettes. She rarely drank anything. To her, whiskey was more medicinal. She used it as a medicine. Like she made that cough medicine. Every year when I was a little kid, she made that cough medicine with whiskey, honey, rock candy, and I think cayenne pepper. And she would make it up and put it in a mason jar and keep it in the refrigerator. She made it she would make it around now, when the weather was starting to change. She would make it, in lemon. She would make it and keep it in a mason jar in the refrigerator. And when she got ready to, if I caught a cold or something, sometimes she would make it in a tea, or sometimes she would make it up and put a little bit more honey in it and just make me take it straight. And it was strong. Like you could legit taste the whiskey. It was strong. And I'm not sure what kind of whiskey she used, but she used a special whiskey. She liked to use the same whiskey. She would go search for that particular whiskey and she made that cough syrup every year. Every year around this time when the weather was changing, mama would make that cough syrup. So whiskey was used more as, a medicine. And they did that, back in the country. She said, they used it for medicine, they used it for cleaning wounds and all kind of stuff. They used alcohol because they didn't have like rubbing alcohol, but they may have whiskey because somebody had made it and gave them some. So, she wasn't a drinking woman. And my dad wasn't a drinker either. So, they were church people. They went into smoking, and that's probably why I'm not really. I mean, I have I've always had like a bar and stuff, but I'm not a heavy drinker. Like every now and then I'll have uh you know a glass of something. I'm more of a I see I see a drink or I see something new like Stolichnaya had that grapefruit vodka and I wanted to try it. I'm more like that. I see something, if it's a brand that I like, this is not Stolichnaya, Cattell One. If it's a brand that I like, then yeah, I will drink that. Or I may go out restaurant if I see if they have a lemon drop martini or something cutesy on the menu, I'll order that. But I'm not just a drink. Not like that. No, I used to be. There was a time when I would drink, but yeah, I done got out of that shit. I don't do that no more. But yeah, y'all, we are celebrating Mama today on her birthday. We are, thinking about her. We should never forget our ancestors. We should never ever forget the people that shaped us and made us who we are. It was by God's grace and design that, my mom adopted me. I would not have been the person that I am, I don't think, if my biological mother had kept me. I think I would have went through way too much trauma to end up being the person that I am now had I stayed with my real mother. You know, I'm just so grateful that the person that adopted me was just so chill and, quiet and, you know, didn't let a lot of things bother her. She didn't have a lot of outside distractions. I think that's why I'm so quiet and chill and so content, like being by myself, not being with hella people. I don't care about having a whole lot of friends. I've always been a loner. I've always been a little weirdo kid. The little kid that went to school in a three-piece suit. Like, who sends their elementary child? The only thing I didn't have was a little briefcase. Here I come in the fourth grade. I'm walking in the gates of the elementary school in the fourth grade in a three-piece polyester suit and these cat-eye glasses. If I can survive that, the ridicule I received in the fourth grade, showing up the first day of school in a three-piece polyester suit, I can survive that level of ridicule. I can definitely. Girl, I was clean. Okay? And plus, this was the 70s. This was the 70s. So, I was clean as hell. I hit that fourth grade classroom. I stepped out of the pattern, a simplicity pattern. I had every outfit on that pattern. Okay? You couldn't tell me nothing. And my mama was the proudest mother. I sent my baby to school with a three-piece suit on. Can't nobody tell me or my baby shit. Gone, girl. Conquer this world in that three-piece polyester suit. Them kids tore me up. Do you hear me? They tore me up all day long. They talked about me. And I just, I had a feeling that was going to happen. I did. And when I got home, I told my mama, I was like, they ate me up. They got me. You sent me to the wolves. You knew it was gonna happen. You knew it was. And she was like, they gonna get you tomorrow too. Wait till they see you tomorrow. And the kids, after a while, they was just like, you know what? This girl is not playing. She's just gonna leave her alone. That's her mama is crazy. They sure did. After a couple of days, and they saw that every day I was gonna come. Even the teachers was like, "Look at her, look at her." I was sharp as a tack in the fourth grade. You couldn't tell me shit. I was mad though, but I was clean. Right? They was hating on me because they mama had went to the store and just pulled some old raggedy stuff off the rack. I was clean. Okay? Three-piece suit, jacket, vest, pants, jacket, vest, skirt. You hear me? I was clean every day. Everything was matching. All the pieces, were interchangeable. One day I hit him with the jacket. The next day I hit him with the skirt. I could leave the vest off if I wanted to. But if I wanted to be bad, I could wear the jacket, the vest, and all I needed was a briefcase. And I was smart. And that's what I look back on. And I was like, they was hating on you, girl, because not only was you killing it in the fashions, you were smart. They couldn't take all of this. It was too much for them to digest. I was killing the game in the fourth grade. Fourth grade. Killing them. Okay? Killing them. I'm gonna have to find I know it's a picture of me in in the in the suit. It's a picture of me. But one thing, I was a girl. My mother my mother was a nice dresser. My mother took pride in her outfits. If we were just going to the grocery store, my mother had to, she had to coordinate. She had to, my mother was one of, after she got older, she was one of those. Remember when them jogging suits was in? All of the older ladies were wearing those like nylon jogging suits with the flower print. I mean, the jogging suits were super ass busy. She had a few of those, and she had to go to the grocery store, and she had to put on her little Dr. Scholl shoes, or because she had bad feet. She had to put her little, she had to do her hair. It was every time we went somewhere, it was a production. I mean, church was a big deal. Like my mother was big hat, outfit, gloves, purse, all of this stuff had to match. So she is with me, a little bitty her that she loved to dress. She loved to dress me. And of course, her style was a little older, but that was how she. When you little, you don't have no say in what you gonna wear. Your mama buying the shit, you gotta wear it. I had this whole seamstress in elementary school. My mother would take me to the lady's house, and the lady would measure me, and then she would make the stuff on a pattern, and we would come back and try it on, and all of this kind of stuff. I went through that for like 2 years before I was like, don't want to do this no more. I don't like her. I don't want to. The kids are teasing me. I'm getting bullied. There was no such thing as, we didn't say bullying back then. We said teasing. But the kids were teasing me. And we finally stopped. I'd probably wear it now. I think I would. I will wear it. But honey, mama was doing the most. She really was. Let me see if I can find one of them patterns. I'm trying to see. Okay. Now this is similar. So she would get a pattern like this, and the lady would just make every outfit on the pattern. She would make the pants, the skirt, and the only thing my mom would do is go and buy me different little shirts. And that was it. Honey, that woman would make every pattern on there. And I'm trying to see if I can find that specific one. I think this it right here. This it. The jacket. This it. The pants. The jacket. No, the little vest ain't on here. But the woman would make the jacket, the pants, and the skirt. The only thing that's missing in this one is the little vest. The one that she would make for me always had like a little vest to go to it. But honey, that that lady that sewed for my mama, she could sew. She would make all of those little outfits, and in different my mother would get the material, different material, and I would be set for the year. All my mama did was mix and match. I would be set, honey. You couldn't tell Lucille nothing. Her baby was out here clean. Her baby was clean. This it right here. See all that plaid? I had the whole thing. The little vest, the little skirt, the little pants, plaid. But them kids, honey, them kids drove me crazy. They talked about me. After a while, I didn't care though. Because I legit started thinking I was cute. I was like, forget them, they haters. I didn't even know what a hater was, child. They was hating on me. With a nice white shirt, you'll be clean. Clean. And a nice, like a nice heel. You can walk into any boardroom. So could. I'm finna go, y'all. I'm finna go. What time is it? Let me go feed Gizmo. I know that dog mad at me. But see, I've been waiting. Because Gizmo, since he's off his steroids, his appetite then went back to normal. And now he be acting like he don't want to eat. I ain't that shit. So now I just have to wait until I like legit think he hungry before I feed him. So I'm gonna go feed his butt. So that's it, y'all. I said, let me come in here before they think I'm gone and I ain't coming back. Hey, Jazzy. That was in high school though. The boy that used to come to school every day with a suitcase, with a briefcase, that was in high school. And it was some, I think it was something going on with him. But yeah, that was in my high school. I had to go to school every day dressed like that in elementary school. I was little. I was like in the fourth and fifth grade. That boy came to school every day in a suit with a briefcase. But he was preaching. He was like in his own world. He was preaching the gospel. And we all, let him preach. So I will see y'all later. I don't know what I'm gonna do, y'all. Oh, when is the thing, Phoenix? When is the next when is the next event? Because I want to come. Y'all had it on the day that my husband was actually, which is not often for him to do, but he was actually driving to San Francisco, and I wanted to. This was the first time that I've ever ridden with him um, while he was driving the bus. Like, of course, we've went to San Francisco before, but this is actually the first time that I've actually seen my husband drive a bus, and he don't drive that often. Uh, but he had to go to the city, and he was like, "Hey, why don't you ride over there with me? Probably won't be too many passengers." And it wasn't. It was just me and him going to the city, but on the way back, he picked up a couple of people. And so I rode to the city with him. So, um, oh, okay. Well, y'all let me know because I don't want to miss it. But I wanted to ride to the city with him, and now we're gonna have a date and go over there during the day because where the bus drops the people off in San Francisco. Like when you ride the bus from this side of the bay to San Francisco, it lets you off at the bus terminal. And this bus terminal is brand new. And when you go up to the top layer, the top floor, there's a park built on the top floor of this building in San Francisco. And the view the view is spectacular. Like you don't get like can you see the bridge? I don't think you can see the bridge from there cuz I think the buildings block out the view of the bridge. But it's still just, the skyline of San Francisco that you can see at night from the rooftop park. So we're actually going to me and him. We're actually going to go on a date, and there are restaurants in this building and stuff. It's not just a bus terminal. There are restaurants and everything is real fancy. But we want to do that during the day. So that's one of the things that we have uh, set up is to go there during the day and go to one of the restaurants. And did my TV stop? Oh, it's paused. And have lunch or whatever. So let me know when you guys are doing it so I can come. I hate that I missed it because I really wanted to participate. So let me go on and feed this dog. Thank you guys for coming. I appreciate you guys. And I am going to be talking more about the cuddle cot. Um, and if you want more information, there are videos on YouTube because people have been using this for a while. So let's kind of, put that in our minds as something that we want to do as a channel and figure out how we want, you know, maybe we may want to do more than one. So we can donate one in your area, or to more than one hospital. If we can get the donations together to donate more than one, we can do that. Yeah, that's fine. I don't care who it is, Phoenix. Let's just have some fun. So let's put that on our hearts, and your spirit. Get together with your spirit guides, and if that aligns with your spirit, then let's do that. So I will talk to you guys later, but we are going to talk more about that in the future. That is on the table. I am going to. Did you feel the earthquake? We had an earthquake here. Where you at, Jazzy? Oh, what? A 5.1? I ain't felt nothing. 12 miles from San Jose. I should have felt it. I ain't felt nothing. 12 miles from San Jose. It must have been the opposite side of the bay. But a 5.1, I should have felt that. Because San Jose ain't that far. I ain't felt nothing. I'm sitting right here. If I had felt the earthquake, I sure would have said something. That's a nice jolt. That's a nice jolt. A 5.1? Let me see, did my friends feel it? That's a nice jolt. Let me see. They haven't said anything. I don't see them saying anything. Oh, they did. They did. One of my friends did. I ain't felt nothing. Oh, it was an hour ago. So it should have been when I first got on live. But San Jose, if it's 12 miles, if it was centered, well, they felt it in Oakland. I'm not in Oakland anymore. But they said they felt it in Oakland. But see, we're a little farther out. The alert came on my phone before it happened. Really? Yeah, I didn't get an alert. I don't, my husband, he don't never feel shit. So I ain't gonna ask him. Yeah, I ain't felt nothing, girl. Yeah, my friend, she in San Leandro, she felt it. I ain't felt a thing. And I'm glad I didn't. Damn, I got coffee on my shirt. I'm glad I didn't. I hate earthquakes. Ooh, Adidas dropped Kanye? Everybody dropping Kanye, child. I'm glad I didn't feel it, girl. Damn. I didn't know they alert you before. What they expect you to do? Run? Hide? Yeah, I didn't feel it. Maybe that's too far to feel it. I think the quakes have to be centered this way for it to really jolt us. Cause oh, stop, drop, and roll. I think that's the fire thing. What can you really do if it's an earthquake though? Because they're even telling you that that whole stand in the doorway thing that don't work. If this ground shake enough, you can't run from that shit. Just try to get out the way. That whole door frame, they ain't making houses strong enough to withstand. But you know, okay, so I have survived a 7.2 earthquake, and even with the Loma Prieta was 7.2. Even with a 7.2 earthquake, most houses still stood. It was the fire in San Francisco that messed up a lot of homes. There were some collapses in San Francisco, but that was in areas where the city is, like, in some places made on sand or something. Something. But most of the houses, even shaking in with the force of a magnitude 7, but they say anything past that can shake a house down. So 7.2, we got to the point where, okay, well, the houses are still structurally sound. But a 5 point something is a very nice jolt if you are, especially if you're within that radius of where the earthquake is centered. They felt that. Yeah, we didn't feel anything. I'm gonna ask my granddaughter, did she feel it? Very scary, but so that's it, y'all. Thank you for coming. I'm gonna go ask my husband, did he feel anything? He was like, heck no, I ain't feel nothing, child. Ain't no earthquake. I'm gonna go see. I love you guys, and I will probably, I don't know, I'll probably talk to y'all tomorrow. Okay? Thank you for coming. Bye. How do I get out of here? I ain't been here in so long. Bye.